It is a night when dreams will be realised for some youngsters around Australia, and others will be very disappointed. It's become one of the biggest nights on the AFL football calendar, when the cream of the crop gets its name read out and these young players join AFL clubs, realising those dreams. Alistair Nicholson with you at the Gold Coast Convention Centre. What an event this has become. Huge room, live audience, a grandstand full of people watching. And then down on the floor in front of us, there are friends and family and special guests. There are all the recruiters, the coaches, young players. And I look up onto the stage, I can see Andrew Demetriou sitting up there and adorning the walls all around the Gold Coast Convention Centre. The number one draft picks going right back to 1986 when Martin Leslie was the number one draft pick for the Brisbane Bears. But joining me tonight to bring you the AFL draft is the AFL Manager of Talent and Academies for New South Wales, the ACT and Queensland, Mark Browning. Mark, how times have changed. Martin Leslie, first pick in 86, didn't even join the Brisbane Bears until 1988.
Look, it's just a magnificent event now, but I'm actually laughing about the amount of recruiters, Al, because Essendon have got 2 picks, but there's about 10 recruiters sitting at a table.
Right, Mark.
Especially now, it's absolutely crucial. We see clubs who get it wrong, and it can put you back 5 years.
Same for Adelaide. They're still suffering from the Kurt Tippett affair, so this is the last year for them of the sanctions imposed on the Adelaide Football Club, so they're only going to have a few picks with which to strike gold here tonight as well. Pick 23 and pick 46. And they've committed to upgrading rookies with pick 76 and 86 in the draft. But you look at the Brisbane Bears as well. They had 5 players walk out on them. Mark.
Brisbane Lions.
Brisbane Lions. Brisbane Bears are on the brain.
Yes.
But the Lions had 5 players walk out on them, uncontracted. They had to get whatever they could for them during the trade week. So it's an important night for a club like the Lions as well, who'll have 7, 22, 25, 28, 33 and 34 as live picks tonight. But just on the number of live picks, that's interesting, isn't it? Because there's talk that there'll only be somewhere in the mid-50s, and that's down from almost 70 last year, mid-70s the year before.
Yeah, well, look, what's really come into play is the promoted rookies, because there's 18 of those in total. So if you add 55 live picks, and we're talking new players to the AFL system,
yep,
plus another 18, that gets you up to the 73. So, you know, look, I don't mind that, because I think a kid who's not getting paid as much, put in the hard yards in an AFL club, it's good that clubs keep the faith. And for an example, the West Coast Eagles have got 3 promoted rookies, which I reckon is a great story. It means the kids weren't far away when they were put on the rookie list. And in the last 12 months, the Eagles development program has fast-tracked them to where they're comfortable to put them on their list.
Yeah, so it's showing some faith in the youngsters, but I guess on the other side of the coin, if you look at it, Dane Swan picked 58, James Hird picked 79, Chris Grant picked 105. So these recruiters, they want to be right on the money, don't they?
Well, the follow-up, of course, is the rookie draft
yep,
next Wednesday, which is a great result. It used to be about a 3-week turnaround between the draft and the rookie draft, which really put the kids on tenterhooks for so long. So I'm just rapt that the turnaround between this and the rookie draft is a lot tighter.
It's an amazing scene here, isn't it, to look around.
Where are we? We're on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, we're in the convention centre, which is a large open space, but you've got these tiered grandstands, probably 15 metres up in the air above the area that where we're sitting, where there are a few hundred people. As I explained earlier, the recruiters and family members and players and special guests, VIPs, all the coaches are here, and then there'd have to be a crowd of at least 500 people here watching from the grandstands as well.
Well, and the interesting one, Alistair, there's 70 boys here tonight who are the AFL AIS Academy Level 1, Level 2. So we're talking about the best 70 boys from around Australia who will be eligible for the draft over in 2014, 2015. So they're going through what a lot of the boys are going through 12 months earlier. They're here for a camp, but gee, look, my job tonight is to pick the pieces up for the boys who don't get drafted, to be honest.
That's the hard part.
And it is hard, but I think there's a lot more reality these days than perhaps there was before. So, look, there will certainly be a lot of excited boys and parents, but there'll also be a heck of a lot of kids who are very disappointed.
So shortly what we're going to see is Andrew Demetrio officially welcome everyone. He'll take us through the rules tonight and declare this a official meeting of the AFL. And at about 10 past we're going to have round 1 with the first 10 picks in the draft, and they've done away with this suspense creator of 10 to 1. They're going from 1 to 10, and let's be honest, I mean, midway through the year we all know who number 1 is anyway. Could anything happen that would deny Tom Boyd number 1 tonight?
That'd be a shock. And we spoke this morning on the radio that if Jack Martin and Jesse Hogan were in the draft...
Yeah, it would be interesting.
It would be interesting to see who was actually taken at number 1.
Who's your tip for number 2 then? We're hearing some strong mail, but maybe young Kelly, Josh Kelly from the Sandringham Dragons.
I'd be very surprised. I'd be very surprised if he's not number 2.
So Greater Western Sydney with 1 and 2. The second pick came as part of the Dom Tyson trade to Melbourne.
Yes.
Let's hand it up to the stage now, and Matt Campbell's our MC on stage, and shortly we'll be hearing from Andrew Demetrio.
Also, a very special night for those players who will be selected tonight out of over 1,500 who have nominated to continue on that journey along the NAB Rising Star pathway and trying tonight to fulfil their dream of playing AFL football. Some players will be taken in the top 10, some will be taken later in the draft, but they will all join an elite group that we call AFL footballers. To begin proceedings and to get this auspicious night underway, please welcome the Chief Executive Officer of the AFL, Mr. Andrew Demetrio.
Thanks, Matthew. Good evening and welcome to the 28th NAB AFL Draft Selection Meeting being held here again at the Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Centre. Thank you to all AFL club representatives from the AFL Players Association, aspiring young AFL players and their parents, accredited agents and members of the media. As this is the first time all of the clubs have been together since the end of the Toyota AFL 2013 Premiership season, I think it's appropriate to congratulate the Hawthorn Football Club on their outstanding grand final win. I want to acknowledge representatives of the National Australia Bank, our partners in the NAB AFL Rising Stars program, which provides recognition, resources and support to local football communities. In particular, representing NAB here tonight, I wish to welcome Tim Clark, Head of Sponsorship, and Ross Blunden, Business Banking Executive. I also want to sincerely thank the Queensland Government for their support in bringing the NAB AFL draft to the Gold Coast, and acknowledge the efforts of the Honourable Jan Stuckey, Minister for Tourism, Major Events, Small Business and the Commonwealth Games. Providing live television coverage for tonight's draft is the Fox Footy Channel, ABC Radio, along with 5AA, SEN 1116 and Gold FM, who will also be broadcasting throughout the evening. The AFL website, afl.com.au, is providing live streaming coverage. And for all other members of the media here tonight, I wish to thank you for your coverage of the NAB AFL draft. Tonight marks the beginning of the AFL journey for so many, but as we gather here this evening, we also remember the contribution of someone whose journey was tragically cut short last month. The game here in Queensland, and indeed right round the country, is poorer for the sudden passing of former Brisbane player and AFL Queensland State Development Manager, Troy Clark. Troy enjoyed a successful career with the Brisbane Bears, but his true legacy to the game was felt after he had hung up his boots. Troy's contribution to the development of Australian football here in Queensland is profound. He's left an indelible mark on the game that he loved and for all those that he came in contact with. Our thoughts are with Troy's wife, Natalie, and their 2 children, Lachlan and Taylor. Troy will be greatly missed, but never forgotten. We also wish to send our condolences to AFL Queensland Academies and talent manager Mark Browning after Mark recently lost his father. Our thoughts are with you, Mark, and with your family. And finally, I want to pay tribute to AFL Queensland State talent manager Bob Batty, who officially retires at the conclusion of tonight's AFL draft meeting after 27 years of service to the development of the game, first in Victoria and then here in Queensland. To you, Bob, we thank you for your tireless commitment to Australian football over a quarter of a century, and we wish you well in retirement. Well done. I would now like to introduce the people sitting at my table. Andrew Dillon, AFL General Counsel, Mark Evans, AFL General Manager Football Operations, and Ken Wood, Manager TPP and List Management. All AFL clubs are entitled to have up to 8 persons in attendance to represent them at this meeting. 2 club representatives are permitted to sit at the club draft selection table and select players. I will call out the draft selection number and the name of the club in the order noted in the NAB AFL draft selection schedule that has been circulated to clubs previously. The ID, number, player's name and the previous club must be called out clearly. In the case of a player drafted for the first time, I would also ask you to call out their junior club as indicated on the nomination list circulated. The players selected in the top 10 will make their way to the stage where they will be presented with their club jumper. After the number 10 pick is announced, all of our top 10 will briefly be presented on the main stage. The remainder of the selections from selection 11 to 24 will then be made before we take a 4-minute break. Each club will be entitled and permitted 2 minutes to make their selection. If necessary, you are requested to indicate that additional time is required and a further 2-minute extension will be granted. I now would like to hand over to Andrew Dillon, our AFL General Counsel.
Thank you, Andrew. All clubs have been advised of the exchanges and lodgement of documents for players that have affected the normal draft order. This year, 26 players have been pre-listed by clubs, comprising 23 players promoted from the rookie list, 1 player selected under the father-son rule by North Melbourne, 1 player selected under the Club Academies rule by Brisbane, and 1 player as a priority zone selection by the Greater Western Sydney Giants. The player selected by Brisbane under the Club Academies rule, Jonathan Freeman, is the first primary list player to be selected from the Northern States AFL Academies. 37 players have agreed to be retained by their club as a second or third year rookie. These players cannot be selected by another club at this draft meeting as they are included on the rookie list of their club. The names of these players have been circulated to clubs previously. All clubs must make a minimum of 3 draft selections at this draft, and that can include those pre-selected players I've previously detailed. A club is not required to use a pick that they gain from a trade during the AFL exchange period. Once a club passes on a selection, it is excluded from further involvement in the draft other than for the naming of any pre-listed players. Finally, can I please remind all people here tonight to make sure you have your mobile phones switched off. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Andrew. And we know tonight is a very big night, whether you're watching at home on Fox Footy or whether you can feel it right here in the room. It's a big night where all the big questions will finally be answered.
So, Andrew Demetriou there, Mark Browning. He gave us a pretty thorough overview of what to expect in the next little period. We're probably going to see it go for around about an hour or a fraction longer, although we are already running slightly over schedule, so we might get pushed out a little more than we would expect. But it's worth just taking you through some of the picks of the first round. So Greater Western Sydney with pick 1 and pick 2, St Kilda with pick 3, the Western Bulldogs pick 4, Gold Coast Suns pick 5, Collingwood pick 6, Brisbane pick 7, North Melbourne committed to taking Luke McDonald, son of Donald McDonald, at pick 8, Melbourne at pick 9, Collingwood pick 10, 11 West Coast. We'll go to Andrew Demetriou.
Player number 214-227, Thomas Boyd, Eastern Rangers, Norwood Football Club.
So no surprises there, Mark. Tom Boyd.
Gee, they've their battery of forwards add to Cameron and, of course, Jonathan Patton and Tom Boyd. Gee, it's a powerful-looking group, isn't it?
Tom Boyd, great year last year as a young player in the Vic Metro team. Played a starring role in their championship win. This year he was going beautifully early. Kicked 6 goals against the New South Wales ACT in the first game. And in the second game against Western Australia at Subiaco, had kicked 3 goals in 10 minutes, flew up in a pack, took a strong mark, came down, injured his ankle that kept him out for the bulk of the season. But, well, he's a beautiful finisher, isn't he?
Yeah,
great
he is.
Mark.
And he missed 3 months and came back in the final of the TAC Cup Under-18 competition, kicked 4 goals. So, look, he's an absolute talent. The good thing for a young boy like this is, because there's so many other young players with the GWS, he's not going to an environment that's, where he hasn't got a lot of boys around about the same age. So, look, terrific choice, exciting player. We can sit here sometimes, Alan, and say he'll be a 200-game player, but I think this boy certainly will be if his body stands up.
He's got a big body, there's no doubt about that, Mark. He's at 201 centimetres and weighs over 100 kilos as well.
Yeah, he does, and he's going to cause many key defender a lot of grief over the next few years.
So Tom Boyd being presented with a Greater Western Sydney jumper by the coach, Leon Cameron, who just must be licking his lips. I mean, in 3 or 4 years' time, the forward line that includes those 3 power forwards, Pat and Fit, he's up on stage, Tom Boyd. Let's have a listen.
It's been a long wait. There's been a lot written, a lot said, but now it's finally here. You are the number 1 draft pick. Is it a sense of relief, sense of excitement, mixture of both?
Probably both is the best way to describe it. Like I said, there's been a lot written, but until we get here, names read out, it's all kind of hearsay and speculation. So. Look, I'm just super excited to get started with the GWS Giants, who are obviously a budding and really exciting club. And I'm just really humbled to be, picked before some of these guys who I respect so much and whose ability, in my opinion, probably supersedes my own in some regards. So, I'm just really excited.
There's a certain amount of scrutiny and pressure that comes with the number 1 draft pick. Are you ready for that?
I can't say I am. I haven't experienced it yet, but look, I'm just willing to take the challenge head on and. Put my best foot forward, and I'll be going to the Giants as any other player and just trying to put my best foot forward on the training track and earning the respect of my teammates.
It's a great night for you, and we're pleased to have with us tonight NAB, represented by Ross Blunden, Executive for Business Banking, or Banking Executive. And NAB have been fortifying Australia since 2002, and Ross will present a NAB investment portfolio worth $10,000 to number 1 draft pick Tom Boyd. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Boyd.
So Tom Boyd exits the stage.
Bit of difference between 1 and 2, $10,000.
I'm sure he'll be earning plenty across the course of his career.
214-193, Joshua Kelly, Sandringham Dragons, East Brighton Vampires Junior Football Club.
So some highlights now being put up of Josh Kelly from the Sandringham Dragons, a midfielder weighing 75 kilos, 184 centimetres. Was the Mitchell medalist as an outstanding member of the AIS Academy this year. Lovely left foot kick, huge aerobic capacity. Mark won the 3K time trial at the draft combine in 9 minutes 32, the second fastest time ever. He is the son of Phil Kelly, who played 61 games for North Melbourne and won 2 Sandovers for East Perth.
And I played on in a state game, Victoria versus West Australia 100 years ago. How's that?
82, you won the medal, didn't you?
Yeah, might have won the medal.
Oh, come on. It's draft night and Mark Browning's dropping in his career highlights. But, yeah, good get here for Greater Western Sydney. So they complemented the selection of Tom Boyd as the big power forward now with a very good young midfielder.
Actually, the extra height with him is important because GWS have got a lot of those 180-type midfielders. So just a little bit more height, a little bit more like a Josh Kennedy-type player, bit of outside run, and you can't take away the fact that he's a left footer. So I think terrific result, good mix and good use of the first 2 draft picks by the Greater Western Sydney.
Here comes Josh Kelly. Another Greater Western Sydney Giants Guernsey being presented by Leon Cameron. The pair posed for a photograph, and fair to say that the frame of Josh Kelly not quite Tom Boyd.
Player ID number 214230, Jack Billings, Oakley Chargers, Q Comets.
So the Saints take Jack Billings at pick 3. 185 centimetres, 76 kilograms. He's a midfielder, starred for Vic Metro last year as a 16-year-old. He's been an All-Australian the last 2 years. Did carry a knee injury this year, but very good mark from all reports. Exquisite on both feet, good in congestion. Jack Billings taken from the Oakley Chargers by St Kilda.
Well, look, he'll certainly add. You look at his body and you think he might be 12 months off, but some of these kids will certainly, especially in the first 10, will play some games in season 2014. And the thing about it, he just plays well every week, this kid, and I just like the fact that he's 185. Again, that's just a little bit extra high, because what's happening now, Al, as we know, a lot of the midfielders are pushing forward with the less rotation, so the extra little bit of height of being able to play in the midfield and then push forward to kick goals is really, really important.
So the first three selections are pretty well according to what we thought. Tom Boyd, Josh Kelly and Jack Billings.
We spoke about, Al, that all the clubs at the end of the night, I think they're all going to say they've done well.
Yeah, they are. They're not going to admit that they didn't do well. Jack Billings comes to the stage.
And
the new Saints coach, Alan Richardson.
He's a great developer of young talent, Alan Richardson, too. So I think the boy's in good hands.
The Dogs' first selection.
Number 2,
this is an interesting one.
3-2-0, Marcus Bontempelli, Northern Knights, Eltham Junior Footy Club.
So Marcus Bontempelli taken. He's a tall midfielder, 194 centimetres, 84 kilos. He is the cousin of Nick Del Santo. So if he can carry some of those genes, he'll be going nicely. He's one of the youngest players in the draft. He can jump and take a mark. Kicks well with both feet. He's a very good athlete from all reports, Marcus Bontempelli.
Well, have a look at that too, Al. The first 4 picks have come out of Vic Metro. So there's a little bit of competitive spirits between the states, I can assure you of that. So Anton Grabak, the head of the Vic Metro talent program, would be very happy with that result. I like this kid. He's one that I think the Brisbane Lions were certainly interested in because of his outside run and his leg speed, but he can play inside or outside. And again, with that height, it's a massive advantage being able to go through the midfield.
So Marcus Bontempelli, he'll need to put on
another
little
left footer.
He's very rangy, yeah. There's
another
a lot
left
of good...
footer, Al, 3 of them out of the first 4.
Well, another one that's touted to go at pick 5 too, potentially to the Gold Coast Suns, Cade Kolajasny, is another lovely left footer, Mark. So, gee, there weren't so many good left footers around in the 80s, were there?
No, not that many.
So Marcus Bontempelli's been presented now.
Gee, love the height, don't you? And look at the length of the arms on the young fella. Like, you just see him just put a bit of beef on the body in a couple of years' time. Terrific.
Here's the Suns' first
Player
selection.
Number 214042, Cade Kolajasny, Launceston and Prospect Junior Football Club.
There you go, Cade Kolajasny. You can see him there with his mother and his family. Yep, his sister and his brother is Jake, who's touted as a draft selection here tonight as well, but he's really emerged and got better the longer the years gone on, Cade Kolajasny. His grandparents fled Ukraine after the Second World War, so that's where apparently Kolajasny is like Smith in Ukraine, I'm told, but he's 190 centimetres, 79 kilos, a defender with a smart left boot, as we mentioned. He won the running vertical jump off his right leg and vertical relative jump at the draft combined. Best player at the Div 2 Championships and an All-Australian, a late call-up to the AIS AFL Academy, Cade Kolajasny. But Scott Clayton just loves picking up the Tasmanians, doesn't he?
He does. I stir him up that there's more Tasmanians on the list of the Suns than there are Queenslanders. But look, terrific play, ticks all the boxes. It's actually a great result for Tasmania, El, to have one in the first 5. I mean, that is a terrific result for them. And Matty Armstrong and his crew down there, Adam Saunders, they do a really good job. And this kid has just come on in leaps and bounds. He's probably not in the top 50 at the start of the year. So to get picked up, and how exciting is it for him to be going to the Gold Coast Suns in where their midfield group is all about. They were looking for a running defender.
Pick 6 for the Pies.
This will be an interesting one.
681, Matthew Sharonberg, Glenelg Campton Football Club.
So the South Australian Matt Sharonberg joining Collingwood, and he is touted as a talent, Matt Sharonberg, from the Glenelg Footy Club, 191 centimetres, 88 kilos, a utility. He has had some stress-related foot problems that they were saying might force him out of the top 10. Clearly, Derek Hine and co have got faith in him.
You then trust your medical staff. You really do. And this kid can really play, back or forward, good size. He's nearly ready to play now, this kid. So, don't be surprised if he bobs up and plays a few games. I'm going to take a bit of a punt here, Al. Pick 7. Pick 7 next, Brisbane Lions. I'm going to go for Aish.
Oh, well, I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised, but he's a quality player.
James Aish.
And he's gone down.
I'm hoping that the Brisbane Lions pick James Aish.
Well, Aish is football royalty, really, in South Australia. He's part of that famous Aish family, isn't he? Michael Aish was a champion, playing over 300 games for Norwood. His father was also a premiership player at Norwood.
Oh, the Aish family in South Australia is absolutely legendary. And this kid is an absolute talent, and the next boy as well. But he was one of the most consistent players through the national championships.
Anyway, here's Matt Scharenberg going up, shaking hands with Nathan Buckley.
I think they've actually picked him to replace Nick Maxwell in a couple of years.
Yes, Heath Shaw's gone.
He drops off his opponents.
Brisbane's first selection.
214-265, James Aish, Norwood Football Club, Panamnu Football Club.
That's why we've got you, Mark Browning, with us on Grandstand tonight at the AFL Draft. He can pick those selections. And James Aish, yes, as I was saying, the son of Andrew, who won a premiership at Norwood, but the nephew of Michael, who played 300 games, won a Magarey medal with Norwood as well. His grandfather Peter played and coached the club as well, but he's a very good athlete. James Aish had the best kicking efficiency at the under-18 championships and All-Australian the last 2 years, and has played plenty of senior football.
I think
he's played in two premierships with Norwood the last couple of years.
He ticks a lot of boxes for the Lions. Genuine leg speed, but more importantly for the Lions, terrific kick. And he would, I know Brisbane Lions and Rob Kerr would be absolutely delighted to have recruited this young fella.
So James Aish, seeing a few highlights of him up on the screen.
Jeez, he's got the beard going at a young age too.
Yes, I still can't grow one, Mark, so very envious, but continues a fine tradition of very good footballers coming out of that family. And just watching some of the highlights, his delivery is delightful. And if that's what Brisbane need, they've got Daniel Rich, whose delivery out of the midfield's beautiful, but if they can get another one in there who can
the leg
hit a target.
And the leg speed. So it's definitely ticked a lot of boxes. He'll certainly play senior footy next year.
Another new coach, Justin Lepich, presenting a Brisbane Lions jumper to James Aish.
I can pick number 8 too.
South Australia. Here we go. Yes, well, you should be able to. Father, son.
Luke McDonald, Werribee Tigers, Oakley Chargers, Q Comets.
This was a formality that Luke McDonald, son of Donald, was going to be taken with pick 8 because West Coast had offered up its first pick in the draft for Luke McDonald, meaning North Melbourne, if they wanted him, had to use their first pick. So they've taken him at pick 8. Captain Vic Metro this year. Also played 15 games with Werribee and had 27 possessions on debut, Mark. So he's been able to match it with some of the big boys. He's a good kick, has very good aerobic ability. Played at the championships as a lockdown defender, but he's demonstrated a capacity to play in other positions as well. So Luke McDonald.
Oh, and I think the development of playing senior footy for Werribee, look, I think he's ready to play. How much he plays next year, I know Kangaroos don't rush players in just for the sake of playing them, but you can certainly see him playing senior AFL football into 2014.
Alistair Nicholson and Mark Browning with you live on Grandstand Digital around the country, on the ABC radio app as well, and on the Grandstand website, www.abc.net.au/sport. We've had 8 picks in the AFL draft here at the Gold Coast Convention Centre. If you weren't with us earlier, Tom Boyd, as expected, taken at pick 1. We're up to pick number 9, which will be Melbourne's first pick after they traded pick 2 to Greater Western Sydney. But seeing a shot of Luke McDonald and Donald McDonald on screen. And
I'm going to have another go here. Dom Sheed.
214-220, Christian Salem, Sandringham Dragons.
No, you were on fire, Mark. You were on fire.
No, I would have taken Dom Sheed. I like this kid, but I like the... I thought Paul Roos, midfield. But not terrific player, this young bloke, and well done.
So Christian Salem will go to Melbourne. There's a good story. His father is of Lebanese nationality originally, but they've owned some good pubs and cafes and restaurants, the family in Melbourne, from all reporting. He's got a few good friends who've been selected as well, or Jack Billings, Luke McDonald, all the friends and family get together regularly. Josh Kelly as well. His father, Alex, as I was saying, born in Lebanon, but he's a strongly built Sandringham Dragons player. And he played for Vic Metro as a bottom-age player last year when it won the Division 1 title at the Under-18 Championships. Another piercing left footer as well, Mark, so one of your favourites. He kicks well over distance, very good mark as well. And for Brighton Grammar at school level, he's played his footy this year too. Kicked a few important goals at various times. The draft combined, he ran 2.98 seconds over 20 metres, so that was impressive from him. And 14.5 in the beep test. And here he comes to shake hands with Paul Roos. He'll learn plenty from Paul Roos across the course of his AFL career.
Selection 10, Collingwood.
Player 214-241, Nathan Freeman, Sandringham Dragons, Dingley Football Club.
Another one from the Sandringham Dragons. They've made a good start here tonight, Mark.
Well, look, a lot of the Sandringham Dragon boys also come from private schools in metropolitan Melbourne, so doesn't surprise me when you go through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the first 10 have come out of Victoria Metro. Fantastic result.
182 centimetres. He's a midfielder, 85 kilograms. And he averaged 15 kicks and 7 hand passes a game, almost 23 possessions all up a game for the Sandringham Dragons this season. Nathan Freeman. They did very well, Collingwood, didn't they, to play finals football and then still come up with pick 6 and pick 10 in the draft. So,
very good recruiting. Derek Hine, of course, is renowned as one of the best.
Matthew Scharenberg taken by the Pies already at pick 6, and now Nathan Freeman at pick 10 from the Sandringham Dragons. Scharenberg from Glenelg in South Australia. And Freeman will be the next player to be presented with a Collingwood jumper. And this is a great night for all clubs, really. I mean, I'm sure we've got a lot of listeners wanting to know about the players that are arriving at their clubs, and particularly for the struggling clubs. You know, they've really pinned their hopes on some of these young players, which is a lot of pressure for them to contend with, but at the same time, great opportunity.
Yeah, all the draft concessions that the new clubs have had over the last few years, that means some of the other clubs miss out on some of this high-level talent. So I think when you go through there, you would say Collingwood have done very well. Look, they've all done well. Very predictable, the top 10, when you look through. If you go through all the bits of paper we've got here, Al, I think most had those players in the top 10.
We do have a few too, Mark. I tell you, it's preparing for something like this has involved a fair bit of homework. But let's take you through the top 10 on ABC Grandstand Digital. Tom Boyd, as expected, taken at pick 1 by Greater Western Sydney. Josh Kelly at pick 2 by Greater Western Sydney, as we're seeing all the top 10 players presented on stage. And Tom Boyd, it's just a sliding scale from pick 1 down, isn't it? He is huge. They've compared him to Tom Hawkins. Big, powerful pack breaker.
He's not probably quite as heavy as what...
no, he looks more muscular at this age,
more athletic.
So pick 3, St Kilda, Jack Billings. Pick 4, Western Bulldogs, Marcus Bontempelli. Pick 5, Cade Kolajasny for the Gold Coast Suns. Pick 6, Matthew Scharenberg for the Collingwood Football Club. James A slid down to pick 7 for the Brisbane Lions. Luke McDonald was the father-son selection, as we all knew about, for North Melbourne, son of Donald McDonald. And pick 9, Christian Salem, taken by Melbourne. Rounding out the top 10 in this year's AFL draft, Nathan Freeman. But Tom Boyd joins an exclusive club. Lockie Whitfield last year, Jonathan Patton the year before, David Swallow, Tom Scully, Jack Watts, Matt Cruiser, Bryce Gibbs, Mark Murphy, all number 1 draft picks. And over the years have been some, well, very good number 1 draft picks. A few who didn't necessarily kick on as they might have been expected, but Luke Hodge in 2001, Goddard 2002, Cooney 2003. The early 2000s were good with Revolt. Go back to Fraser in 99, Headland 98.
So Travis Johnson.
Yes.
1997. And look, don't forget the player doesn't ask to be drafted number 1. It's a decision made by somebody else. So whether the boy gets there or not is really in the hands of the coaches once the recruiters hand it over.
Now, we will be speaking with some of the top 10 picks, including Tom Boyd, shortly on Grandstand Digital. It's just a question of when they're ferried across to us, Mark. They'll need to complete some television commitments. Now, Dom Sheed's been taken at pick 11 by the West Coast Eagles. 187 centimetres, 83 kilos. So Ben Lennon at pick 12. He goes to Richmond. 190 centimetres, 79 kilos. We'll whip through these for you and bring you a bit more information at the end of each round. So Patrick Cripps going at pick 13 to Carlton.
Player number 214091, Cameron McCarthy, South Fremantle, South Coogee Junior Football Club.
Rated as one of the better key forward prospects in the draft this year.
Another key forward at the GWS.
Yes.
Zach Jones, Dandenong Stingrays and Mount Eliza Junior Football Club.
Zach Jones to Sydney. Very little breathing space here. Geelong next. Well, some suspense finally.
Can you repeat that? Microphone's not on.
Andrew Demetriou's.
Player 214250, Darcy Lang from the Geelong Falcons and Colac.
Selection
Geelong.
17, Fremantle.
They do like to take players from their own region.
Yep.
Under Mickey Turner.
Player number
pick 17.
214419, Michael Apnes, Eastern Rangers, Don Vale.
Selection
Michael Apnes,
18, St Kilda.
201 centimetres, 98 kilos. He's a monster as well. St Kilda got this pick as
Player ID number
trade.
214.
Got Savage to the club and saw McAvoy leave.
Dunstan, Woodville West Torrens, South Clare Football Club.
Yeah, this kid can play. He's a very good player.
St Kilda.
2 picks in a row for the Saints, having taken Dunstan, the South Australian. Who's next? Taking a little more time over this one. Dunstan, a midfielder and a good clearance winner. Had a leg injury that ruled him
Player
out late in
ID
the season.
number 214445, Blake Acres, West Perth, Edgewater, Woodvale Junior Football Club.
After round one,
Blake
compensation, selection 20,
Big, strong,
Gold Coast
athletic
Suns.
midfielder.
Player 214514, Jack Leslie, Gippsland Power, Nambrook Newry Junior Football Club.
So Jack Leslie, he's a tall one as well, Mark. 199 centimetres, 92 kilos. So he's got a bit of size on Jack Leslie as well, taken by the Suns at pick 20. So that is the first round of the AFL draft done and dusted. And
Gee, they got through that.
I was going to say we had very little time to discuss any of those players taken, but let's go through. Pick 11 for West Coast, Dom Sheed. Pick 12 for Richmond, Ben Lennon. Pick 13 for Carlton, Patrick Cripps. Pick 14, Greater Western Sydney, Cameron McCarthy. Pick 15, Sydney, Zach Jones. Pick 16, Geelong, Darcy Lang. Pick 17, Fremantle, Michael Apnes. Pick 18, St Kilda, Luke Dunstan. Pick 19, St Kilda, Blake Acres. And rounding out the first round of the AFL draft, Jack Leslie from the Gold Coast Suns. And Dom Sheed, you thought might have gone a little earlier, Mark?
Well, I thought he might have Melbourne, but he is an in and under type midfielder, and there's no doubt once Melbourne didn't take him, Western Australia, I think West Coast Eagles, have got something like 80% of their list of Western Australians, which is an unbelievable figure, but it's great. It's terrific. Makes sense. They don't have the go-home factor. So he's a very good player, Dom Sheed.
Sheed broke his collarbone.
That's right.
At the end of the season.
Was having an absolute blinder in the National Championships.
Yeah, in June. He was the captain of Western Australia, had 29 possessions, won 6 clearances and kicked 4 goals in the win over Vic Country, an AIS AFL Academy graduate from Kalgoorlie.
Kalgoorlie. It's a big state, Western Australia.
Absolutely. And I guess in a way that's one of the tougher recruiting jobs, isn't it, when you have a massive land where they play football right across it in Western Australia to try and keep an eye on the best young talent.
Gee, I tell you what, when you look at the GWS, like Cameron McCartney is another key forward, Alistair. So they've got Jonathan Patton, Jeremy Cameron, Tom Boyd, and now Cameron McCartney. I'm telling you, that is an unbelievable stable of key forwards. So when you look at that, and they did say that there was a bit of a chance of maybe Cameron playing at centre half back. So what an absolute...
Don't do that to us.
Well, what an absolute luxury that would be.
Yeah, they're assembling a fair forward arsenal that other clubs would cry out for. You do wonder whether they can sustain that into the long term, whether one of those players might in the end be traded for maybe a key defender. Their midfield looks quite promising, Greater Western Sydney. Richmond's pick at number 12, Ben Lennon, its first pick in the draft. Had a taste of under-18 footy last year as a bottom-age player for Vic Metro, where he played as a half forward. He had an ankle injury, though, just before the carnival this year, but he battled through and still played as a very good forward and was an All-Australian.
But he is 188, so you know, when you say half forward, you can see him sort of playing that high half forward type role, pushing up into the midfield and pushing forward. So, and he's the young fella from...
I think we're going to be able to have a chat to James Aish here, Mark, who's joined the Brisbane Lions. He's got a Brisbane Lions polo on, and he does have a impressive bit of facial growth at the moment. James Aish, welcome to Grandstand. Firstly, congratulations. What a weight it must be off your shoulder to know that you're now on an AFL list.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit surreal, really. I've obviously been waiting for a long time for this day, so I'm happy it's over, and I'm pretty excited to get over and start training.
Are your family here tonight?
Yeah, Mum and Dad are here, as well as a mate who's up here called Darren Pfeiffer, so it's good to have them up.
So you spent a bit of time up here, James, during the year being mentored by Gary Ablett at the Suns, so you've been to the Suns and now you've ended up at the Lions.
Exactly, just down the road, but obviously some rivals there, so it'll be interesting, but I'm very happy.
So what about the advantage of being able to play a fair bit of senior footy as a 17, 18-year-old? 2 premierships, actually. I mean, I took until I was about 32 to play premierships, and you've ticked the boxes straight away with Norwood, of course.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty hopeful that it'll hold me in good stead going forward. It's been a really good experience. I guess it's developed me as a player really quickly. So, Nathan Bassett taught me a lot as well, so I think it'll hold me in good stead.
Father Andrew is a premiership player at Norwood. Your uncle, obviously, is Michael, 300-gamer McGarry medalist. Even your grandfather involved with the footy club as a coach and player. How much have you benefited from the role of your family in football?
They've been amazing. Always really supportive and just happy that I'm happy and doing well. So, yeah, they've been fantastic, and I think they'll be really happy for me today as well.
Are you comfortable with a move away from home?
Yeah, I think we all sort of knew it was going to happen. So, yeah, I think it'll mature you as a person and develop you quick. So, yeah, I'm getting ready to leave.
And what excites you about joining the Brisbane Lions?
I think even just from a few words there, Justin Lepich sounds fantastic. So he sounds like he's a really good teacher for young players. So I'm looking forward to getting over there with a young group and, you know, hopefully trying to help them become successful again.
And you had a few little issues during the year with your shoulder, is that right?
Yeah, I had I had surgery last December, so yeah, had a bit of a delayed year, but they're all good, no worries.
That's probably stood you in good stead. You probably finished the season pretty fresh and ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. So ready to go for pre-season, and I can't wait.
Well, we did comment in the call that because I live in Brisbane, I think you are exactly what Brisbane Lions are after, and with your leg speed and your kicking is certainly exquisite. And as a Queenslander, we're very excited that you're coming here.
Thanks for that. Yeah, it should be good. Good weather as well, so looking forward to it.
Do you surf?
I'll have to learn.
They'll make you learn, James. Congratulations, well done. I'm sure it's a huge relief. You now know where you're going. You can go and enjoy the moment with your family. Mark, you got one more?
Yeah, what about being mentored and coached by Simon Black? I mean, that has got to be a massive opportunity for a young fellow like yourself.
Yeah, obviously he's a champion player, and obviously I want to become an inside mid as well. I want to develop into that sort of player, so he'll be one of the best in the business to learn from, and I've heard he's a great bloke as well, so it's a win-win.
James Aish, well done. Good luck for everything next season and what lies ahead for you. Pick 7 in the AFL draft.
Thanks for that, boys. Cheers.
That's James Aish, ladies and gentlemen. He's joined the Brisbane Lions at pick 7 in the AFL draft this year. 184 centimetres, 79 kilograms. Back-to-back premierships in senior football with Norwood from South Australia.
Well, how important, when you think of this young fella and being able to keep Simon Black as an assistant coach with the Lions. It's an absolute win-win. I mean, in the end of the day, you couldn't get anyone better to mentor a young player than Simon Black.
No, he's very... I think there was some thought of maybe going elsewhere for Simon Black, but he has decided to stay with the Brisbane Lions. I do think he's going to be in a forward coaching role, but for someone who delivered the footy so beautifully out of the middle, Simon Black would know leading patterns and be able to tell blokes where they need to run to receive. Now, we're into the second round of the AFL draft now, and taken at pick 21, Port Adelaide have taken Jarman Impey. So Jarman Impey to Port Adelaide at pick 21 from the Murray Bushrangers, 177 centimetres, 78 kilograms. He's a defender. So he's gone to Port Adelaide. Brisbane Lions pick 22 have taken Darcy Gardner. Here's one, Adelaide Football Club. Now they're limited with the number of picks they have again this year, Mark.
They've got to get this
and
right.
They've added at pick 23 the brother of a very impressive young player for them.
Ah, yes.
By the name of Crouch. Matt Crouch joining his brother at the Adelaide Crows, and some big raps on him as well. So Matt Crouch at pick 23 to the Adelaide Crows. Hawthorn's taken Billy Hartung at pick 24.
Runs a 16.6 beep, which is a record.
Does anyone run that?
On a
That is
motorbike?
extraordinary. Daniel McStay's gone to the Brisbane Lions at pick 25. Zach Merritt, he's going to join his brother too at Essendon, pick 26. Sean Lemons at pick 27 to the Gold Coast Suns. There was a bit of talk that maybe Jake Kolodjasny was going to join his brother at pick 27 at the Suns. Cade earlier going at pick 5 to the Gold Coast.
Port Adelaide.
Pick 28, Lewis Taylor. He's a good story. Comes from the Victorian country. Used to have to drive a couple of hours down to training in Geelong. Would occasionally tell Mickey Turner that his car was out of fuel and throw him the car keys and get him to fill it up before he made the 2-hour trip back. His father's a shearer and he works on the farm in the country. Lewis Taylor is a great story. Pick 29, Greater Western Sydney have taken Rory Lobb. So Rory Lobb to Greater Western Sydney. Have they gone for another key forward here, Mark? Let's have a look. So Rory Lobb, a ruckman from Swan Districts, 205 centimetres, 98 kilos.
Yes.
And then at pick 30, North Melbourne, Trent Dumont. He's another South Australian, is Trent Dumont. So he's joining North Melbourne. From Norwood, a midfielder, 186 centimetres, 85 kilograms. Did have some ankle issues this year, but he's a very astute ball winner. West Coast at pick 31 have taken Malcolm Carpenter. We are flying through these selections here. Sydney next. Let's have a listen.
Football Club and Broughton Mundura.
So George Hewitt,
selection 33,
yet another South
Brisbane.
Australian. He's joining Sydney, 33 with Brisbane.
There's not a lot of South Australians at Sydney, actually.
Not too many that I can think of off the top of my head.
No, there's not.
So 33 in the hands of the Brisbane Lions. They've got 33 and 34 have the Brisbane Lions. And 33 was for Sam Doherty, who went to Carlton. And 34 was part of the trade for Jared Pollock to Port Adelaide.
I think they will take their time here because they're their last two picks, 33 and 34, and it's a real domino effect now. It's not as predictable as the top 10. So if a player goes or stays and is available, it can really change your thinking.
So we've got the players coming past us at the moment. Josh Kelly's just behind us at the moment, so we'll endeavour to have a chat to him as well. Josh Kelly, pick 2, also headed for Greater Western Sydney in the AFL draft. Tom Boyd taken at pick 1, and Josh Kelly, Alistair Nicholson and Mark Browning with you on ABC Grandstand. Congratulations. Describe your emotions.
Oh, thanks a lot, guys. Just huge relief and excitement. This day's, I've waited it for a while now. A lot of hard work, a lot of training, a lot of hours, and to finally be on an AFL list, it's huge excitement. Yeah.
Is your dad Phil here tonight?
Yeah, Dad's over on the table. Dad, Mum and my sister. Yep.
What was their reaction?
Just exactly like me. They're just hugely relieved. They've wanted this as much as me. They've been along with me the whole journey. And we've shared everything together. So to share this tonight was great.
Did they give you any indication that they were going to select you, or is it a wait and see?
It's pretty much a wait and see. There was a lot of talk. They never gave me any guarantees. A lot of talk. A lot of people saying that I'm going GWS, but in terms of making guarantees to me, it wasn't until my name was read out. So
it's a relief once that name comes out.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? Well, it's funny how the wheel turns, Josh, because I actually played on your father in a state game between Victoria and Western Australia 100 years ago. So it's amazing. And so just your attributes. Is it your leg speed?
Handy time trialer, Mark. 9:32 for the 3K time trial.
You're right. Hey? I don't go that quick in a car.
Yeah, well, probably, my endurance is probably a key to my game. From a young age, I've been a long-distance runner, but so implementing that into my footy was always a focus for me. Just being able to get to contest after contest, and I like to try and use my skills as well. So, I try and combine them too, and just try and be the hardest working bloke on the field.
Now, I haven't got the results, but how'd you go in the boot compared to Billy Hartung?
I was a bit off Billy. He wasn't quite at his standard. I was 15-1, so
it's still pretty handy. And your mates have been taken all in the top 10 tonight, Josh.
Yep.
It's a great story. Jack Billings, Christian Salem and Luke McDonald we knew about, but you get together a lot, don't you, you boys, and your families all get together as well. Tell us a little of that relationship.
Yeah, it's a great relationship to have. Since under 12s, we've been, worked together, played together that whole time. So, every time we rocked up at training for a Vic team or a representative team, we'd see each other, and, we catch up a lot outside of that as well too. So to share this tonight and be amongst them boys in the top 10, it's, hugely humbling and very happy for them all.
Well, 9 out of the top 15. Josh are out of Vic Metro.
Jeez.
Hey? Which the great Anton Krabak would be very, very excited.
Yeah, he would be. Very excited.
So do you think that's just the culture of the TAC Cup and all that sort of, that week-to-week good quality competition?
I think so. I think so. And, the TAC Cup does a great job with that. The program that they've got set in place that, we're coming up against each other, and we're always pushing each other as well because we're all very close. We, some of us have been together through AAS camps as well. So, we're always pushing each other, always trying to get better, and that just spreads. And, so it's really good to have those numbers.
Can you tell us what Leon Cameron said to you? You're only up there for a moment with him when you received your jumper. What does he say to you?
Oh, just big congratulations. Look forward to getting into it. So he just invites you to the club, makes you feel welcome, and, that's all you need to, feel welcome. Just that congratulations, welcome to the club.
Do you know when you go?
I think it's Monday, So, yeah, there's straight into it, and I'm absolutely pumped for that. Can't wait to get up there and get into training.
So, of course, with a list of 40-odd, only 22 get to play.
Yeah.
So it's not only competing against the opposition, it's just being able to compete within your own club for a spot.
Yeah, and that's good. You want that healthy competition. That's how the team gets better. So, I'll be working hard. I'll be trying to gain the respect of the boys, and I want to try and put my best foot forward to try and get into that lineup. But obviously there's a lot of great players and I've got a lot of work to do.
Well, there's not much room, mate, Josh, to play as a key forward at GWS with the boys that are queued up. They've got Tom Boyd, they've got Big Jonathan Patton, they've got Jeremy Cameron, and they also took Cameron McCartney from West Australia as a key forward. So
you can just provide the silver service delivery, Josh. How's that sound?
Put it up there.
They'll make it easy for the midfielders.
Fantastic.
Josh Kelly, congratulations. Terrific to have a chat to you on ABC Grandstand tonight. Look forward to watching your progress, the start of your AFL career. Well done.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me.
That's Josh Kelly, pick 2 in the AFL draft taken by Greater Western Sydney. So Tom Boyd at pick 1 and Josh Kelly at pick 2. It's a bit of a moving feast at the moment as the players are getting moved past us, but we'll just bring you up to speed with some more of the selections that have been going on. We must nearly be at the end of round 2, I think, Mark. We'll just try and bring those selections. We were up to pick 33 with the Brisbane Lions. Tom Cutler was taken by 33 by the Lions, followed by Nicholas Robinson, also to the Lions. Toby Nankervis, the ruckman from Tassie, has joined Sydney at 35. Jared Hansen to Geelong at 36. Alex Pearce, another Tasmanian, the youngster from Devonport, joins Fremantle at pick 37. He's a kid from Ulverston that played his footy with Devonport. And this is a big one, Mark. Pick 38, Hawthorn, Dale Garlett. So Dale Garlett has got his chance at AFL level after a fine season with Swan Districts in the WAFL. 48 goals in 19 games, Dale Garlett. He's had his off-field issues, but he was a top 10 finisher in the Sandover Medal. And after last year being touted as a very high pick and overlooked by every club in the draft, he's now got his chance. We'll come back to that because we've got another one of the early draftees stopping by with us on Grandstand AFL, live from the AFL draft with Alistair Nicholson and Mark Browning tonight. Jack Billings, the number 3 pick in the AFL draft from the Oakley Chargers, joining the St Kilda Football Club. He's got a huge smile on his face, Jack.
Yeah,
great feeling.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, it's amazing. I can't really explain it. It's something you dream of since you can remember. So yeah, I'm just so pleased right now.
Who did you used to barrack for?
Bombers. So yeah, the old man won't be too happy.
So we didn't pick it up there, mate, because they're still going through this. But Oakley Chargers. But where was your junior club?
Kew Comets.
Okay, so you're one of the lucky ones. You don't have to leave Victoria.
Yeah, so yeah, it's another bonus. So really fortunate that get to stay in Melbourne. So yeah.
And how do you feel about joining the St Kilda Football Club, a team that this year had some trouble on the field and off the field, but starting to rebuild now under a new coach, Alan Richardson?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Obviously, it's been a few tough months for the club, but the only direction now is up, and I'm wrapped to be a part of it. So just looking forward to getting stuck into it and training hard and earning the respect of all the guys. So yeah.
Mark is a 16-year-old, an All-Australian playing with Vic Metro, and All-Australian again this year. Did you feel, I guess, sum up your mental state heading into the draft? Do you just know you're going to get taken and it's a matter of where, or do you not let yourself get too confident?
I guess you're probably more confident because there's a fair bit of media around, so you think you got a relatively good chance, but I guess at the end of the day you just never know until the actual day and your name gets called out. So I'm just so happy. I've been working towards it for a long time, and
so there was a bit of debate whether you'd go at 2 and Josh would go at 3. So you're happy which way it's fallen for you?
Yeah, I think Josh is a super player and he deserved to go pick 2 and had a great year, and he's going to be a great player, and I get to stay in Melbourne.
Well, congratulations. Great result, Jack, for you. Your dad's not happy because he goes for Essendon, but you're a saint. Yeah. Can you convert him?
I'll try. It might take a few years.
All right, well done, mate.
Thanks.
That's Jack Billings, the number 3 pick in the AFL draft from the Oakley Chargers. A star with Vic Metro the last couple of years. A very good mark, exquisite on both feet, good in congestion. Nice of him to stop by for a chat on ABC Grandstand tonight. They're rolling through. Just try and bring you up to date with a few more of the picks. We're just having a little spell at the moment, are we? Or are we back in action again? Yes, we're back in action again. So pick 39 is Cameron Giles for Carlton, and pick 40, Jay Kennedy Harris for Melbourne. So up to pick 40 with Jay Kennedy Harris going to the Demons. So pick 9 in the AFL draft this year. It was Melbourne's first pick after the Demons had traded away pick 2 as part of the deal for Dom Tyson. We'll speak with their pick 9 in just a moment, but we're underway again. Now, Jake Kolodajny, his brother went at pick 5. He went to the Gold Coast Suns, and his twin brother, Jake, is off to the Cats. So the twins have been split up. They've barely had a moment apart from each other over the years. Pick 42, the Western Bulldogs, Matthew Fuller, 180 centimetres, 84 kilograms.
Tom Barras, Claremont,
Tom Barras from Claremont is pick 43 to the West Coast Eagles. Great to be able to have a chat to some of our top 10s tonight on ABC Grandstand as well. Alistair Nicholson and Mark Browning with you this evening. And we're up to pick 44, so things are just slowing down a fraction now.
Well, this is where the domino of who's picked what before you can really affect who you pick here. So there's no doubt the clubs will take their time over these last few because there's a heck of a lot of very, very good talent still available.
Well, it's a good opportunity then to have a chat with pick 9 from the Melbourne Football Club. Christian Salem joins us on Grandstand. Christian, congratulations.
Thank you.
Your mates got picked up as well, all in the top 10. It's been a pretty good night.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Like I said, I've hardly had time to breathe. It's been a great feeling, just speechless.
When did you start playing football? Because your father, Alex, is from Lebanon, is that right? And then moved to the States?
Yeah, moved to Cleveland. So it was about 21, then moved down to Melbourne and Started playing footy, Auskick, when I was about seven or 8. And sort of picked it up from my brothers. They played a lot of footy back in the day and it's finished now, but just sort of picked it up from them.
And playing footy with Luke McDonald and Josh Kelly and those boys in the backyard, you must have had some ferocious contests.
Yeah, especially Josh. It got a bit nasty at times and didn't speak to each other for a couple of weeks, but it's all fun now.
Oh. And going to the Melbourne Football Club, Paul Roos, we know he's a master coach. How excited are you to be linking up with Paul Roos?
Like I said, speechless before, the amount of knowledge that he has, and it's just the willingness to share to us and improve the younger boys is just amazing, and just can't wait to get down and learn as much as I can off him.
And you look like a very close family, so the opportunity to stay in Melbourne must be very exciting for your mum and dad.
Yeah, it was huge. There's about 9 of us here, and we're all come up, and it's just exciting, especially to stay in Melbourne and become a Demon.
Okay, so where did you go to school?
Brighton Grammar with Josh Kelly.
Okay. Did you do well at school?
Yeah, finished up last Thursday, and it's weird to think that you finished exams last week and starting at Melbourne the next.
Now, Mark Browning's just got very excited because Alira has joined the Sydney Swans at pick 44. Beautiful. Tell us a little of the story, Mark.
Well, he's a Sudanese boy who got separated from relatives and everything else in Sudan and ended up in Brisbane and started playing AFL footy at 17 years of age. So played for Queensland as an under-18 boy and then went to West Australia to link back up with family. As a 19-year-old, so that is a fantastic story. I'm very excited about that.
And that's brought a big smile to your face as well, Christian.
Yeah, it has. Played against him in WA and he played on Tom Boyd till he went down, but after Tom Boyd went down, he played very well. A very exciting player to watch.
Lovely boy. Fantastic.
He's a great guy
story.
away from the footy.
Well, Christian, it's a big night for you, obviously. Your fate's decided. You know where you're going. You're going to be a Demon next year. Pick 9 in the AFL draft. You must be buzzing.
Yeah, like I said before, speechless. Just so excited to get down to the club next week and meet all the boys and try and earn the respect as quick as I can.
Congratulations. Well done. Thanks for having a chat with us on Grandstand.
Thank you very much, guys.
That's Melbourne's first pick in the AFL draft, Christian Salem. Now, I've just seen that North Melbourne has taken Ben Brown. So
another
Ben
Tasmanian.
Brown, yes, a ruckman. He's the nephew, I think, of James Manson.
That's exactly
former Collingwood Premiership player. So he gets his opportunity after initially being overlooked. He's had some knee injuries over the years, Ben Brown, but he's been playing football under Scott West at Werribee, and that has clearly been noticed. Now, the number 1 draft pick has joined us, Tom Boyd. He's about the size of Mark Browning and I put together. Tom Boyd, you knew this was coming. Congratulations. Is it nice to have it formalised?
I suppose I wasn't as sure as everyone else seemed to be, but I had a bit of an inkling that I was going to be at the Giants next year, and I'm just super excited to get it over with and just want to dive into pre-season as soon as possible.
You're going to have to go and play down back with Jonathan Patton and Jeremy Cameron. And
Jesus, down back, I haven't really played much down there, but we'll see how we go.
What has Leon Cameron been in much contact with you even leading into the draft to talk to you about your prospects?
I've only really spoken to Leon once, and look, he left a really lasting impression on me with how well he dealt with people and that calm kind of way that he delivered his message. And look, I'm really excited to have him as a coach next year. And but I didn't really have too much interaction with him coming up to tonight.
The AFL draft has got to be a bigger and bigger event year after year. The scrutiny on young players has increased. The amount of media attention you get throughout the year has increased. As the number 1 pick, when you're being touted as that, how do you deal with that?
I suppose I really looked to my dad for that in particular, just to keep my head on the ground, my feet on the ground, and just wanted to stick to the things I knew worked for me and focus on the people that were important, which was my coaches and my school teachers and those kind of things. And in that regard, school's been a really great leveler, to keep me firmly, placed so that I can, deal with the things in my life that matter and try not to get caught up in the speculation too much.
And what about probably the injury in hindsight? It's freshened you up. I mean, you'd be absolutely chafing at the bit.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I've been putting in a lot of work recently to try and get my ankle as close to perfect as possible. And I've said it before that I probably seemed to get a better player once I got injured. So that's when the hype really started, ramping up. So yeah, like I said,
have you
I'm
had
ready
injuries
to go.
before?
Not really.
So it makes you understand the work that needs to go into an injury like that?
Yeah, I reckon my workload doubled when I got injured in terms of cardio work, then gym, and obviously the rehabilitation on the actual injury itself. So I'm not planning on getting injured again anytime soon.
Tom Boyd, the number 1 draft pick in the AFL draft tonight on the Gold Coast, is with us on Grandstand. Tom, be ready to play round 1, do you think? Do you think you could step up to AFL football straight away? You're a great size, obviously, very physically imposing.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, but I really have no idea what the standard of AFL football is like, and until I get into the system and really see the level of training, level of match play, I really won't have a great idea of where I sit. So I've said it before, I just plan to get in there and work as hard as any other draftee and just try and put my best foot forward.
What about coming through, Tom, as a junior player? I mean, and you're not a big-headed type of kid, but I mean, you probably have dominated a little bit as a kid, and I'm not talking once you get to TAC Cup, I'm talking back before that. So just the focus now on the defensive pressure by key forwards like yourself, is that something that you think you're going to really have to work on? That's a little bit not foreign, but you're going to have to take that to another level.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something I've worked on over the last couple of years, and I think there's no doubt that it's improved. But I think it's all part of that real package of a key forward who's really imposing and uses his size and makes a mark on the game. And that's part of the game that I really need to really tune up and make as good as possible. So it's something to work on, and I'll be focusing on that over the pre-season.
Well, put it this way, mate. If you don't want to play in defence, make sure you work hard defensively, because that's what normally happens to the young players. If they don't work hard enough forward, they end up in the back half.
Yeah, I think I'll be putting my best foot forward and trying to stay in the front half.
That is the number 1 draft pick in this year's AFL draft. He joins Lockie Whitfield, Jonathan Patton in recent years as another first pick in the AFL draft going to the Greater Western Sydney Giants. Tom Boyd, congratulations.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
We'll be talking to Tom Boyd, I would think, a fair bit more across the journey on Grandstand AFL, as he's got to go and do yet another interview. He's an impressive character.
Hey? Put it this way, if you had a daughter and Tom... I'm being nice here. If Tom Boyd walked in and said, you'd be pretty happy, I think, wouldn't you? Just an absolute quality kid.
You would be absolutely impressed, wouldn't you? Now, there have been a few selections while all that was going on. We got up to Alir going to Sydney at pick 44, then down to Mitchell Harvey at pick 45. Riley Knight was taken at pick 46 by Adelaide. Ben Brown at 47. Greater Western Sydney have passed with their pick at 48. Then Dylan Main at West Coast with pick 49. Richmond, saying a waiting selection here, but they've moved on to pick 51. So Nick Holman to Carlton. 52, Port Adelaide, Darcy Bryn Jones. Pick 54, Josh Walker. Now, I believe that was a rookie promotion. At pick 54 for the Cats it was. Essendon pick 55, Orazio Fantasia. There's a great name for commentators going into the future.
What about the multicultural...
55.
We've had a bit of that tonight, haven't we?
Multicultural round, Alir and Orazio Fantasia and Christian Salem of Lebanese descent. 56. A little bit more multiculturalism here, at least in the name. 56, James Sicily. James Sicily going to Hawthorn at pick 56. So that's round 3 in the AFL draft, and we do have to get through these quite quickly because we can't really keep up otherwise, but I'll just take you through the top 10 if you haven't been with us earlier on ABC Grandstand, our coverage of the AFL draft. There's a little bit of a pause going on at the moment, and we're going to be able to have a chat with Marcus Bontempelli in a minute, who's joined the Western Bulldogs. But pick 1, Thomas Boyd. Pick 2, Josh Kelly to Greater Western Sydney, both of those. Jack Billings at pick 3 to St Kilda. Marcus Bontempelli, who joins us at pick 4. Cade Kolajasny, he's gone to Gold Coast at pick 5. Matt Scharenberg from South Australia to Collingwood at pick 6. James Ace, the South Australians, Brisbane bound at pick 7. Luke McDonald was the father-son selection to North Melbourne at 8. Christian Salem at 9 to Melbourne. Nathan Freeman rounded out the top 10. He goes to Collingwood. Marcus Bontempelli is with Alistair Nicholson and Mark Browning on Grandstand. Around Australia, he's got a Western Bulldogs polo on. How are you feeling right now, Marcus? Well played.
Yeah, on top of the world, I reckon, at the moment.
I think he looks nearly the most excited out of all the boys we've spoken to.
It's an exciting time.
You should enjoy it, young fella.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah, this opportunity's. I'm very grateful to be given it. Even more grateful I've been able to come up here with my family and share the experience with them. So really positive at the moment. Yeah.
And I want to picture this smiling face in a couple of weeks when the hard work.
The pre-season, yeah, that's always going to be there. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting to the club and getting amongst the boys and the culture, because I really enjoyed the interview with the doggies, and when I went out there it looks great, so really looking forward to it.
Well, what do they say to you in those interviews? Because you can, as young blokes, you can get a bit of a grilling from them at times, can't you?
Yeah, we went, the latest interview, which was on Tuesday, they went through probably one of my worst quarters of football for the year and had a fair crack, but I think that's part of the game these days. You've got to be able to learn and learn from those mistakes and things like that. So
they provided you that feedback after a game you played. They said, mate, not up to scratch.
They did. I think they wanted to see how I'd react to it. And I'm thinking I probably reacted pretty well based on this. So, yeah, that's part of the game today. That's how you're going to learn, I think. And I enjoyed it a little bit because you find out what you need to be working on, and that's basis of improvement. So, yeah.
So, like, you're 194. Play as a midfielder. So who first identified you to have that skill set to play as a midfielder, or have you had that growth spurt at some stage? Have you always played as a midfielder?
Yeah, on and off really, because when I was younger I was a bit taller. I played sort of key forward more so, and then as boys started to go past me, that's where I moved into the midfield. So I had probably the best of both worlds in that I played a bit of forward and played a bit of midfield at a younger age, so that's where I got to mix the both together.
I suppose with your height, the advantage is if you've played forward and played midfield with the reduction of rotations off the bench, more midfielders pushing forward.
I think, yeah, that's something that probably holds me in good stead. I'm probably a bit more versatile than some other players. So I think I can mix, playing inside, outside, midfield, and moving forward with your capping of interchanges. Yeah.
Now, have we done well, Marcus, to get through this interview so far without asking you anything to do with Nick Dalcento, your cousin? Can we ask you now, how big an influence has he been on your career?
Especially this second half of the year, he's been huge. I've spoken to him a number of times about experiences that we've both shared and that we've both had, and that's been invaluable, and be able to speak to him about the similar experiences that we've had, and really just sort of, I guess, soak off the things that he's learned and that he's done, and that's been unbelievable for this year.
You were like a dog with a bone at Christmas functions, weren't you? Just following him around, wouldn't leave him alone.
Hanging off him, literally. So he's been great like that at the Christmas functions. It's always been big, and always been grilling him about his career and what's been going on. So, yeah.
Well, great to have a chat to you, Marcus. Joining the Western Bulldogs, they look like they're on the up, an exciting future ahead.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to getting down there. Great coach, great group of people, and can't wait to get stuck in.
That's Marcus Bontempelli on grandstand, taken by the Western Bulldogs with pick 4 in the AFL draft this year. Thanks very much for your time, Marcus. Shakes hands with Mark Browning.
How excited is he? It's fantastic. You just love that raw, young, innocent enthusiasm.
It's one of the beautiful things, and I mean, on the other side of the coin, there's disappointment tonight, but we're only seeing the smiles of youngsters who have realised their AFL dreams tonight.
Now, I'm not sure I'm talking to this young fella. He absolutely ripped Queensland apart at under 18 level this year in a game down at Tasmania. So, Cade, well done.
Cade Kolajasny's joined us, pick 5 for the Gold Coast Suns on grandstand, and his brother, his twin brother Jake's with us as well. Now, these two have barely been separated since birth, basically. Boys, welcome to grandstand. Alistair Nicholson, a fellow Tasmanian with you, and Mark Browning, who was part of a Hobart premiership back in 1990.
Coached Hobart for 5 years.
We can just have a love in here, but well done, boys. Congratulations. Firstly, Cade, to be pick 5 in the AFL draft. Describe what that means to you.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's just a huge honour to go in the top 10. The start of the year, I wouldn't have believed I'd even been in the top 10. So, yeah, I'm just really stoked at the moment and just can't believe it.
Do you feel like you got better and better the longer the season went on? You were a pretty late addition to the AFL Academy, weren't you?
Yeah, I was actually added in AS last Christmas. That really gave me a lot of confidence going into this year. And, yeah, I just believe I've developed over the year more and more every game I've played. So, it's been good.
Jake, yes. Congratulations, you're off to the Cats.
Yeah, I know. Coming into the night, I wasn't expecting to go to Cats at all. Didn't have much contact with them, so it's absolute thrill. Great team. Yeah, I'm stoked.
Well, both the clubs that have selected you Geelong are very renowned for their development of their younger players, Jake.
Yeah.
So probably for yourself, you couldn't go to a better environment. And Kate, the fact that the Suns are on the rise must be pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, very exciting times at the moment. Yeah, obviously going to the Gold Coast Suns is a huge honour. They're a very good young team, up-and-coming team, so yeah, I just can't wait to get there and just get into it.
So what about Tasmania? They've had a fantastic night tonight.
Yeah,
Matty Armstrong and the boys. Adam Saunders.
Yeah, I reckon Adam Saunders and Matthew Armstrong will be pretty thrilled. There's about 6 Tasmanians drafted tonight, so yeah, I think it might be a record, so yeah, it's outstanding.
Yeah, it's a great result. The intuition between you two boys playing for Tasmania and Launceston in the TSL as well. We're going to get a situation where Gold Coast playing Geelong down the track and Cade Kolajasny runs off half-back and kicks to his brother by accident.
Yeah, that might actually happen. I'm not quite sure yet.
It's quite strange because we always played together and that, so playing against each other would be very strange and something like that might even occur.
So how important for you boys with the evolution of the state league in Tasmania? Footy went on a bit of a low, but it's a very young competition, isn't the state league in Tassie? So the opportunities for you boys to be playing a mixture of under-18 nationals and good quality senior footy must have really helped your development.
Yeah, it's actually a huge advantage being able to play against guys your own age as well as guys that are 10 years older, with bigger bodies and that, getting used to the senior bodies. So yeah, it's a good league down to TSL at the moment. So yeah, it really helped me develop my game. So yeah, can't thank the TSL and Tasmanian football enough.
Gee, Mum and Dad are going to have to pay for a few flights, aren't they?
Yeah.
No, well, if they get drafted, if their first senior game, the club pay for that.
I think they're going to play more than one, Mark.
Yeah. Gee, a bit of a tear if parents want to move now, isn't it? They've got to either come to the Gold Coast or go to Geelong.
Yeah, they'll probably be at Geelong one weekend and the Gold Coast the next. So yeah, we just have to wait and see.
Congratulations, boys. Well done. Cade Kolajasny off to the Gold Coast Suns, and his brother Jake, his twin brother Jake, joining Geelong in this year's AFL draft. A great story. Well done.
Yeah, well thanks
done,
a lot, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.
Let's continue on Grandstand with round 4 of the AFL draft. They're whipping through them, and we're getting all the top 10 picks brought by us nice and quickly by your friends at AFL Queensland, which is terrific, Mark. I feel like we've got it in there and we're being well looked after. But pick 57, Jaden Hunt to Melbourne. Brady Gray, another one of the Tasmanians that the Kolajasnys were referring to, has gone to Fremantle at pick 58. He's the son of Guy Gray, who was a well-known player with the Burnie Hawks back in the day. Jonathan Segler at 59 was the upgraded rookie for Hawthorn. Mitch Honeychurch has joined the Western Bulldogs at pick 60. Jamie Bennell, a rookie upgrade for West Coast at 61. Jonathan Freeman, we knew about as the academy selection for the Lions at 62. George Burberry, a rookie upgrade for Geelong. Lachlan Dalglish, a rookie upgrade for Essendon at 64. Tom Langdon's gone to Collingwood at pick 65. Sam Lloyd to Richmond at 66. We're getting right into the thick of it now. Carlton passed at 67. Carl Amon to Port Adelaide at 68. Sydney passed at 69. Matthew Taberner, a rookie upgrade for Fremantle at 70. Will Langford, a rookie upgrade for Hawthorn at pick 71. So Nathan Freeman has joined us now on Grandstand's coverage. A Collingwood draftee in the first round. Nathan, at pick 10, you're going to the biggest club in the league.
Yeah,
you're
mate.
pinching yourself?
Yeah, mate. I'm pinching myself at the moment. Didn't have a real inkling of where I was going to go, and to be picked up by such a great club with such great heritage and tradition. It's an amazing experience, and thankful for the opportunity that I've got, and we'll now put my best foot forward to develop and improve as much as I can.
And outside finals, you get to play about 18 games at the MCG.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, that'd be good. Stay in Melbourne, and obviously, massive fan base, and you'd be playing in front of big crowds week in, week out. So
we were just talking off air. There was something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the top 15 from Vic Metro.
Yeah, well, obviously, it's a credit to the program and the development that the staff and the coaches have there, and Anton Goodback will definitely be pretty happy with that result.
Well, one of the things the other boys spoke about was, even though, let's be honest, that you're in this high-end talent, the drive and the challenge is always there because of the competition of these other boys who are. It's hard enough to get into a Vic Metro side, isn't it?
Mate, yeah.
That's the challenge for a start.
Yeah, with the amount of plethora of talent that they can choose from, and it's a cutthroat business footy, and yeah, obviously, it's the best talent available, and Metro with their development programs and the likes of that sort of stuff. So yeah, definitely, the Metro programs, held us in good stead.
Yeah, we've asked all the boys. Who do you barrack for?
I go for the Saints, but I'm not die-hard, so I'm more follow players. So yeah,
your favourite player then?
My favourite player is obviously Gary Ablett, but I don't mind Swanee and Luke Shuey.
Well, you went higher than Swanee in the draft, so
pick 58.
That's anything to go for.
Yeah,
Nathan,
mate, if I can have half the career he's had, I'll be stoked.
Nathan Freeman's with us, and he's been joined by his new Collingwood teammate Matt Scharenberg, a South Australian. Matt, well done. Pick 6 in the draft. Do you know much about each other, boys?
Yeah, a little bit. We played against each other in the national championship, so yeah, Nate's obviously a great player, and yeah, it's fantastic to be drafted to the same club as him.
And Matt, can you describe the moment when you walk up on stage and you see Nathan Buckley, a player of his calibre, a Brownlow medalist, and he's got a Collingwood jumper in his hand that he wants to give to you to be part of his club?
Yeah, I don't know if it's really sunk in yet, but yeah, I suppose it was pretty daunting up on stage, but at the same time, very exciting, and yeah, can't wait to get stuck into it.
Is it a bit of a roller coaster, boys, when the boys that are drafted before you, and you think, okay, well, that one's gone now, I might end up. Do you actually sit there and physically, or you just sort of sitting there waiting for your name to be read?
Yeah,
mate,
you
don't really care.
You can speculate all you want. You'll do your head in by the end of the night. So yeah, I was just sitting tight and waiting for my name to be called out, and thankful that Decker called my name out, and yeah, stoked with the opportunity.
Well, it's amazing because all the information on the AFL website, they actually picked the top 10. So for future reference, for any of your mates coming through, they did get the top 10 right. And a couple of not quite right where they were going, but the top 10, very good. Matt, you had a fantastic, consistent national championships, probably mainly playing as that zonal type defender.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable time. Obviously, to win the championships with South Australia for the first time was great. And yeah, managed to play some reasonable footy at the same time, so it was good.
What we talk about the pressure in Victoria of actually getting in that state group. Is the competitive nature of the SANFL and your boys pushing to play senior footy and over there? There's always another challenge, isn't there? Like, even though you're in the state under-18 team, you still got a challenge to get into your senior footy club, into the senior team.
Yeah, definitely. Personally, I think it's a fantastic system, a great pathway for young players, and yeah, to get the opportunity to play some senior footy, reserves or league footy against the bigger bodies is a great challenge.
So let's go back 12 months. So give us the level of footy you were playing as a 17-year-old, not an 18-year-old. 12 months before. What level of footy were you playing, Matty?
I played a few league games last year for Glenelg, and I was playing a bit of school football too, and a few reserves games, and played the national championships last year too.
So you played for South Australia as a 17-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. I'd spread my time between school footy for Hailbury and the Sandy Dragons as a water major, so that's where I spent my time last year.
Is that a bit of a battle with school, club, state?
Yeah, it is a bit. But
number of different coaches.
Yeah, for sure. But I think they all communicate and work really well together. So they make it as easy as possible on you, and so you can focus on your footy, and wherever you are, you play that game style, and it doesn't change.
So just think, whenever you get to play, and I've seen enough of both of you to say that all things well and good that you'll play some league footy. You could be running out of the MCG, Carlton versus Collingwood, or Collingwood versus Essendon, Anzac Day, 85,000-90,000 people.
Yeah,
how exciting is that?
Yeah, mate. It's obviously it's the perks of coming to such a great club with such a big fan base and such a passionate fan base. So yeah, it's beyond the realms of the imagination. But hopefully one of us gets a crack at it one day in the future.
One day, boys. Both of you will be out there, no doubt about it. We look forward to watching your progress. Congratulations on being top 10 draft picks in the AFL draft and going to the Collingwood Football Club. Nathan Freeman and Matt Scharenberg, thanks for your time.
Thanks, boys.
Cheers.
Two happy boys off to the biggest club in the AFL, and we've wrapped up here, Mark. Now, we're off air in about 6 minutes, so I think the smartest thing for us to do, with the pace that they whipped through, both on the interview front, the top 10 players for us, and also the players selected in the draft. Yep.
like nearly these boys have met each other here.
Yep.
For the first time. It's just, you know, like
it's
that's
like perfect match.
It's just the way it is. That's the system.
So what we might do before we're off air, we've got a little over 5 minutes. I'll just very quickly take you through each club's selection. So starting with Adelaide, who only had a couple of live picks tonight. Matt Crouch, whose brother's become a very good...
That's nearly keep the talent that's already at your club. If both the brothers are
if
at your
there's anything
club,
like his brother Brad.
Yeah, no, that's exciting.
They also took Riley Knight at pick 46. So Hartigan and Laird were their rookie promotions. So that's the Adelaide Crows. And I'll take you back to try and find club by clubs. We have had a few minor issues with the internet here
GWS, they're exciting. You know, the young talent they've drafted tonight on top of what they already had was fantastic. Like Tom Boyd, Josh Kelly, and young Cameron McCartney in the top 14. So they've got two more key position type players and an absolute gun midfielder is incredible. It's just so exciting.
Yeah, you do think that the future for the Giants is going to be pretty bright on the back of some of these selections. So,
and Collingwood as well. Collingwood with, as we've just interviewed those two boys, Scharenberg and Freeman, you know, you can see them playing a little bit of senior footy by late next year.
Okay, so Brisbane, pick 7, James Aish, pick 22.
I'm excited
Darcy
about that.
Gardner, 25, Daniel McStay, 28, Lewis Taylor, 33, Tom Cutler, 34, Nicholas Robertson, 62 is Jonathan Freeman, as we knew, and Justin Clark was a rookie promotion. Let's go back here, and we'll take you next. So we've gone through Adelaide, we've gone through Brisbane. We're waiting for things to upload. Carlton's up here now for us. Pick 13, Patrick Cripps from East Fremantle. Cameron Giles at 39 from Woodville West Torrens. And Nick Holman at pick 51. Curnow and Bell, rookie promotions for the Blues. And we'll take you next to the Magpies. Can. Just bear with us here. It's the room's just starting to file out on draft night, and all the families are very happy, and the players, just the beaming smiles of faces as you see the young players leaving, knowing that they're playing AFL football next season. It's been a huge night for them.
Well, it was a multicultural night too, wasn't it, Al? It was just the amount of multicultural, different backgrounds, nationalities. Of course, Aaliyah is a fantastic story. It'll be interesting to see Aaliyah actually move from Queensland to Western Australia to be closer to family, and he's been drafted by Sydney. But he's actually the second Sudanese player, I think, to be drafted to the AFL, of course, after the boy that's at the
Majak Daw.
Majak Daw.
Yep.
So, look, terrific story.
Collingwood pick 6, Matt Scharenberg, Nathan Freeman. We've just heard from both of them. 65, Tom Langdon from Sandringham Dragons. Pick 77, Jonathan Marsh from East Fremantle. Sam Dwyer and Adam Oxley were rookie promotions for the Pies. So we'll try and whip you through these. It's very difficult. The internet's not working well for us. We're using about 3 different devices to try and bring you club by club. Let's try and move on to Essendon. Only 2 live picks. Zach Merritt joins his brother at the Bombers and Orazio Fantasia. Pick 26 and 55 with Lachlan Dalgleish, a rookie promotion for the Bombers.
Yeah, the Orazio is actually a small forward come midfielder, so I think with the retirement of a couple of small forwards for Essendon, and that's a good pickup for Essendon.
Fremantle, 17, Michael Apnes, 37, Alex Pearce, 58, Brady Gray, a couple of Tassie boys there. Apnes from the Eastern Rangers, Taberner, a rookie promotion. We'll go to the Cats on the other device. Darcy Lang, 16, Jared Jansen, 36, Jake Kolodjasny, 41, Josh Walker and George Burberry upgraded it. Gold Coast Suns, Cade Kolodjasny, 5, Jack Leslie, 20, Sean Lemons taken at pick 27. Greater Western Sydney, Boyd, Kelly, Cameron McCarthy, Rory Lobb, 1, 2, 14 and 29. Williams was an upgraded rookie, and Jake Barrett from Temora taken as well by them. Hawthorn, Billy Hartung, Dale Garlett, what a huge story he is. James Sicily, Jonathan Segler, Will Langford, Segler and Langford rookie promotions. We'll move along to the next club. Had a bit of speed going there. All hands on deck. Christian Salem picked 9. Jay Kennedy Harris 40. Jaden Hunt 57. Mitch Clisby rookie promotion at 82. North Melbourne Luke McDonald father son at 8. Trent Dumont at 30. Ben Brown ruckman at 47.
That's a great pickup. I actually like Ben Brown.
Port Adelaide Jarman Impey, Mitchell Harvey, Darcy Bryn Jones, Carl Amon their selections. Richmond Ben Lennon, Nathan Gordon, Sam Lloyd their selections. Ricky Petted was upgraded. We're just about off air in 30 seconds, so we'll try and get a couple more. You can go to the Grandstand website to catch all the draft news. Jack Billings, Luke Dunstan, Blake Acres, Tom Curran for St Kilda. Thanks for your company tonight, Mark. Sydney, Zach Jones, George Hewitt, Toby Nankervis, Alia, and West Coast, Sheed, Kennedy, Carpany, Barras, Main, and the others were rookie promotions. We've enjoyed bringing you the draft on Grandstand.